10:50. Roll call. Keith Warney.
Here.
Erwin Tompkins.
Here.
Daniel Pellet.
Present.
Joe Bjornson here. Bill Hodge.
Present.
Mike Netland.
Present.
Amy Lane.
Here.
Kelly Kumpela.
Here.
Pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm right through the illegal. First up, we got the liquor store hire candidates.
Right, Heather, as we know, was looking for 2 part-time positions to be filled over at Northbound Spirits. She conducted some interviews. Personnel committee was present for these interviews. I spoke with Heather after the fact. She made her selection, and the reason why it's on the agenda today versus waiting for the regular council meeting is she wants to get them in process, get it moving, and get them up to speed on midsummer preparations.
Is the underwriting currently in process on the candidates?
It is.
Okay.
Well, nothing. She said basically contingent on the council vote, and then subsequent in processing with the city and a background check. So this is the first step to getting them in the door.
So checking references is that's in process now, or will be.
I would have to ask Heather.
Yeah, so the motion is to approve the hiring of Hope McAdowell and Catherine Ball at step 1 on the liquor store clerk pay scale, contingent upon successful completion of city in processing requirements and a background check as outlined in their offer letter.
Second.
Keith, any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0.
League of Minnesota Cities has an annual City Fest. This was brought to my attention by Council Member Hodge, and he would like to attend. Right now, there's an early bird special as well as a first timers special, with the price being pretty reduced. As you can see, we'd be only paying $275 versus $475 after May 2nd. And this is designed for city officials to network, attend workshops, and discuss governance issues. It's not a public festival, but a professional gathering for Minnesota's leaders. And if there are any other council members that would wish to attend, please let me know, preferably today and or latest on the 1st, and we'll get you enrolled as well.
Motion is to authorize council members to attend this training for the city to cover the registration fee and other associated costs for Menahga policy. Bill being the only one at this point.
So moved.
Keith. Get a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Bill's going. Appreciate it, Bill.
Yeah, you bet. Good notes.
We'll get into the budget. Police budget.
Chief Lane, before I turn it over to you, council members, you'll have 2 sets of documents in front of you. I could not get Banyan to make this all onto one sheet, unfortunately. So in the horizontal budget, you'll have the budget revenue expense to previous years. You'll have 23, 24, and 25 on there. And then the second packet is just going to be 25 and then the 26 proposed. Everything will be up on the screen here. All changes will be made in real time, and this will reflect across the board.
So just to keep us all in order, just say what page we're talking about.
I don't have a copy of that. I have the one that I made that we had for our committee meeting. But I mean, we'll still follow it on there.
Well, give us the account number then. You can find it now.
Oh, well, I don't.
Well, I mean, and
My
also
line item is the 42110.
so just say office supplies. That's where we're going to start.
Well, I don't even. He has to find it,
Oh.
unless it's in, is it in order? If it's the whole budget, mine's normally like on page 8 or 9, I believe.
And it starts on.
The 42110.
Yeah.
What are the last three?
It'll start on 200.
Office supplies. That's on page 3. On the landscape. Yeah.
The first, go ahead.
The horizontal one, Mike, it's page 8 for the,
You found it on page.
yeah, the vertical one.
So the first 3 line items on mine, that's one that I have no control over. So my first line item would be, office supplies.
Yes.
Everyone there?
Good talk.
Correct.
Okay.
So that one we budgeted, we left that one the same at $1,000 at some point this year. I probably should start updating some budget, or excuse me, some office supplies and get some stuff that we need. So no increase, decrease in that one. Any questions on that one? Okay, next one is 208, the training and instruction. That one, we had 2,500 budgeted for 24. I knocked that one down to 2,000. We did sign up for Otter Tail County training. They usually bill us, it's usually $200 an officer, but they cut us a deal. It just charges a flat 200. So if we have an officer that wants to attend, they can go to that training. So $200 covers any of the training that they have over there. And I know Officer White has utilized some of their training in the past, and he signed up for some of the training this year.
How often is recertification done?
There's some that we need yearly, and there's some that we need every 3 years. And then there's some we need every 6 years.
So is the recertification in the training and instruction? Is that where you carry that?
Well, the Wadena PD is gracious enough to allow us to train with them for free. So they have a staff that is trained in like use of force. Sabika PD does our firearms training for free. We don't have to pay to go to really any of the training that we need. This is if the guys want to go to something kind of above and beyond, like advanced traffic stuff. You know, there's a lot of options out there. Unfortunately, a lot of it is really expensive. So kind of weigh out, is it something that's going to benefit the department or not before we send anyone to anything like that.
Past, we haven't spent near this, but you just want it there just in case.
Yeah, just in case there's something that pops up that the guys want to go to. Next line item is 210 operating supplies. We left that one at 2,500. We just got all 3 of the radars check calibration last week. I do need to order ammo, and then all of our less lethal ammo is expired. So I need to order some more of that as well. Any of the stuff that's expired, then we'll use for training, because we have to certify on that once a year as well. And we just had that in March with Wadena PD. So we'll use the expired stuff to qualify on. Line 212, motor fuels and lubricants. That one, so in 2024, we had 10,000 in that. We went over. And then 2025, it was knocked down to 7,500. We've used, well, close to half of that. So I was looking to bump that one up to 9,000 for 2026. But
We're at 9,500 right now.
oh, 9,500, sorry. Yeah, that must be it. That's obviously one that's hard to predict because we have no idea what the gas prices are going to be.
I'm wondering, since we're over 10,000 for 2024, and we're already half of what our budget was for this year, we shouldn't take that to 10.5 instead of 9.5. Gas isn't getting any cheaper.
Is that based on 2 patrolmen or 1?
That's for our 3 car. That's our fuel.
We have 1 patrolman that we hired later on. Was that during that budget process in 23?
So
I'm just
Joe
curious.
came back in May of 2024 full-time.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking 10-5 might be a little closer
Yeah.
with the three.
With the additional.
Yeah,
We don't have three on patrol at the same time.
no, but
No,
yeah,
but at one time we were down to 2. We were
From
aiming-
October to April, we were down to 2.
I would think 10-5 might be a little more realistic there.
I mean, that's where we put like our oil changes and stuff as well.
You know what the average mileage is put on by the department per year? Average, you have an idea?
I could figure it out. I do about 200 miles a week. I know the guys can put on,
200 miles in the night.
I was gonna say way more than that. I have the mileage logs. I've never figured it out. I mean, if, look at it this way, we got Derek's squad put on the road in July of 2023 and his transmission went out less than a year later. And there was almost 10,000 miles found.
Well, I'm just thinking, you know, that you can back into something like that. Cause you have the mileage logs, so you can derive an average number of miles driven by the department for the
absolutely.
year. And then make an assumed rate of X dollar amount per gallon
Depending
based
on
on
circum-
X number of miles per gallon.
Well, correct, but depending on circumstances, if you're running hot, you're gonna burn more gas. If it's winter out and you're stuck on a call for 3 hours, those squats burn like a half a tank of gas sitting there.
Well, that's true.
I think there's a lot of
That's true, and
factors.
the mileage wouldn't necessarily reveal that running hot or being out in the winter idling. So
I believe we have to go up from 7,500.
Yeah, we've got it set at 10-5 up here for budget purposes. And this is our preliminaries too. We can weed these down as we go through more meetings, but we got to start somewhere.
All right, next line item, 217 uniform allowance. We almost met that last year, so I left it at 4. This year we're at 2,053 already. We do have one vest. I believe it's gonna be Joe's that needs to be replaced this year. And last year's costs were 1,650. I don't know if that's gonna go up like everything else has gone up. And then just kind of to take that back, do have grants that we get reimbursed for part of that as well, which I always apply for and at least get half of that back of the 1,650. I think it
is
was
that
like,
through Sourcewell?
no, it's through the federal government and then there's one through the state as well. I apply for both of those. Repair and maintenance. Figured we'd leave that at 6,000. This year obviously was not a good year for that since we're over it already. But I mean, that doesn't reflect the grants we got.
Thank you.
That was that transmission.
Yeah. That's an unpredictable line item. My car's up to 87,000 miles, knock on wood. There's 0 problems with it. It'll probably rust apart before it dies on me. So
Is there a rotation schedule on pool cars?
well, they used to rotate every, was it 6 years? But
6 years, 100,000 miles.
they got out of the rotation from my understanding. Well, it's years before I got here. 2020 is the newest squad we have.
Well, that's why we've got 15,000 in capital outlay.
Yeah.
Going down here farther, but
What did we pay for the last squad car?
It was just like 21,000. But the problem we ran into, which I have 0 problem sticking with that, buying a used car, considering, you know, we're not running hard miles 99% of the time anyway. But the problem we ran into is it was a 8-9-year-old car and there was no warranty when this transmission went out, even though it only had 40,000 miles on it. That's the bad part about it. So,
It's always a risk.
Whenever
Right.
you buy used, I mean, you
well,
just go-
yeah, absolutely. But even if you buy used and it's a newer vehicle, you're still gonna have the manufacturer warranty. But I intend on going the same route for our future squads that we did with Derek's going through that Chicago Motors. I mean, you order new these days, your squad They're usually expected to be in like April, the fall. You order them in the fall, they're supposed to come in the spring, and some of these are still a year out. They're not even showing up when they're supposed to show up. And then with new, you get recall after recall. Some of them are some pretty serious recalls, but then say Ford doesn't even come out with the parts to fix them. So. Yeah. The next one, 304 is legal services. That's set at 8,400. The county attorney contract is 700 a month. I did reach out to them to see if there was an increase, and there's been no word of an increase for that one. So obviously, if that changes, I will let you know.
Don't they bill us monthly for that?
Yes.
$700 a month.
What's 2025 year-to-date amount at zero then?
They may not have, maybe they bill at the end of the year. I'm not sure.
That's why I asked.
Except
if
for
it's
when
monthly.
County.
Yeah.
I know when Elvina was here, she puts it all under one. So I'll look it up and I'll split it up if I have to.
We know that's the correct amount though.
Yes, 700.
It is 700 a month.
The next one, professional services. We had some conversation about that. I don't know what this has been used on other than when Joe Schoen was the Clio here before I started, he was paid out of that line item. I know last year I was gonna use it to pay for decals when we had the squads re-decaled, but then that ended up coming out of, I believe, the donations or something.
So what-
Because
Are you recommending leaving it at 2,000 or?
I think that's what we talked about, just leaving it.
I mean, since 23, we've only spent, $455. So,
Well, in 2023, Joe Schoen's would have come out of that, I think.
yeah.
And then I don't think we used any of it last year.
Yeah, it was zero for 20.
So I don't know what that's set up for.
Well, I mean, let's Z it out then, make it
Yeah,
zero.
can we, well, or could we even reduce it?
Or move it up to take it out, but I mean, the 2,000 could go towards our increase in fuel costs.
Right, because we added 1,000 there, so. I don't know, maybe we should leave something there just in case.
1,000?
1,000, right? And
Now we're back even again.
So then we're even on budget wise. That makes sense.
And the next one is the 321 telephone, fax, internet. That one we knocked down to, is we took 1,000 off, we knocked it down to 7,000. And the question that comes in on this one is, so our cell phones, jetpacks, and West Central, that's all set. But this IT contract that we signed back in 2023, the county's had a big turnover with their IT department down there. And I don't even think we signed it for 2024 because of the changes, but we're still getting the IT services. But the interim director advised me that there's going to be an increase for 2026, but the police departments are kind of in limbo. I'm not saying we're not going to sign it again, but we have a lot of questions as far as what services are we getting for this 3,500, because in the contract, we're supposed to be getting 4 hours of IT support a month. They're supposed to be coming up here and they're not doing that. So there's going to be future conversations on that.
So, I mean, then do we need to put this back up then?
I think
Or-
we need to leave it.
Okay.
And hopefully the county gets somebody hired here soon. It sounds like they're going to, and I'll get more clarification on that.
You have options if the county doesn't do it, is there other options? Is it pretty much has to be because of the sensitivity and
Yeah.
all that? It has to
Yeah.
be.
It's just like Wadena PD has 9 computers. They have twice as many as we do, and we're all paying the same. That kind of stinks. So
well, on the sport, was that IT support as needed up to 4 hours a month?
no,
Is that how
we're
that
supposed to be
was, or
getting
they're
4 hours
supposed
a
to
month.
come out,
And they've come up,
provide 4 hours a month?
yeah, and they've come up like one time in the last year, and that was a couple weeks ago. They literally walked in to see what we had for computers and stuff and left.
So basically you're looking at negotiating that down since we
Yeah.
don't get much of a service out of
There
it.
is no reason why we should have an increase, because what we're paying now, I don't feel we're getting. They're gonna say, oh, well, you guys are on our servers and you're getting this, you're getting that, and all this.
And all that.
But the whole thing is, I mean, the police departments have been on the county servers for as long as I've existed here. Even prior to the county, so why are we all of a sudden paying now? And in this, we also pay 99% of the time, we have problems with CIS, which is our record system. We call CIS directly to have them fix it. If it's a server issue, CIS will call the county to have them do it. And we also pay CIS. So I think there's a lot of questions that need to be answered before.
Well, the 7,000 should be fine. then.
Yeah, I believe it will be.
Fair enough.
322 postage, we knocked that down to 150 because, that all depends if I have evidence or anything to mail in for the BCA, stuff like that. Last year we used $8.98, so we cut it in half. Travel and conference, line 331 was at 1,500. I knocked that down to 1,000, just in case there's something that pops up that any of us want to go to. Printing and publishing, left it at 200. I guess I don't know if we're gonna need to advertise for anything or. Yeah. 261 through 267, those are not mine. Those will have to get figured out. And then my next one is 417, animal control costs. We left that at 150 because we never know how many dogs or other critters we're gonna have to contend with.
That's dog food, right?
Dog food and other stuff. We did get a smaller, a kennel because we had a fox that was hit out on Main Street West, and I had to bring a cage from home to get it picked up. So we have a kennel in the PD now, so we can deal with, instead of just throwing it in the back of our squad and hope for the best. To 421 squad car equipment. That one was, well, nothing in 2024. And it looks like they put, or whatever, we had 6,000 in it for 2025, and then we did 6,000 for 2026. And that's if we have something we're gonna have to replace. I suppose we never know. I just went down and had lights replaced and put used ones in because it's other people's junk, works just fine for us. So
What did we put in the squads in last year in 24 that cost over $12,000?
that would have been, I don't know why it came out of that line item or why it's even on there, but that would have been when we did Derek Squad.
That was
Which-
computers too.
I have no idea. And that would have been, I mean,
Kelly, can you pull that one, please?
we took all the squad or all the equipment out of Derek's old squad. That's why we ordered the here so we could, move stuff over. Anything that didn't work, Mensch, the guy that does our squads, like I said, there's departments that have a lot of money and there's some junk, works just fine for us. He swapped stuff out. So I don't know what that would have been.
Well, we're gonna find out here.
Yeah, we'll find out. We want to wait for that.
No, next line.
433 dues and subscriptions. That's for the Chiefs of Police Association membership, our post license of $90 a year. All three of us are on a different rotation. And then this is the BCA CJDN $600 a year, the one that I said we have to pay. That's for our access.
Is 1,000 enough? Because I see in 24, we
Yeah.
were 4 times the budgeted amount.
Yeah, well, I don't know what came out of that line item.
Well,
I want to say that when we looked at that, that was supposed to be changed. That the IT contract of 3,500, I believe, came out of dues and subscriptions. Isn't that what we decided?
That's why it's so high at 4.
Yeah, it came out of the wrong line item. Okay, so this,
we're looking at squad car equipment again. We
I
got the,
believe the computers came out of that line item.
Okay.
But
But
we
that-
did have grant
Right.
funds to cover all of that,
And so that money just went right back into it.
however it makes it work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem with this kind of accounting. It shows we spent 12,000, but there was grants, and did we spend
I
anything?
know, it makes my
There should be an
budget look
offset.
horrible.
Yeah.
So it's the actual is this much.
Yeah, it makes it real confusing. But basically, we didn't spend anything then. So do we need the 6,000?
The 6,000 was, I think we decided to keep that to roll, well, I
Just
know
in
it doesn't
case.
roll over. In case we do have equipment we need to replace, which knock on wood, I hope we don't, because none of it's cheap. But for future, when we do end up replacing the squad.
Well, if there was equipment that you had to replace, what would that equipment be in your estimation? What would
Be anything
profit- what's
electrical.
most likely?
Anything electrical in the vehicles?
There's one that I'm gonna switch and get it.
Yeah, the
If you have pet and-
possibilities are endless.
Like the nice part of like excuse me, like the pit bars would be. Oh, if it got wrecked, it would be coming out of insurance, but
Yeah,
like something that's not covered by insurance would be lights or printers and that we have in the cars or the control boxes or. There's so much, the majority of it need electronics in there that's gonna go bad.
What did she come up with?
this is the one,
It's due to the subscriptions.
yeah, the dues, line 433, you were questioning the $4,100. That was the annual IT support for 3,500 was put on.
What date did that come in?
December 24th.
Okay,
That's huge.
that's nice.
Yeah.
I mean, just, we hold a zero there all year until the very last week of the last month. I think in part of your negotiations, can you tell them like these kind of things, let's pay right away at the beginning of the year and just get it out of the way?
Well, so basically that 3,500 should have been up in this other IT.
The one that it was actual, the line, the 321. But if I don't see this stuff and put the line item on there and put my initials on it, I can't help where it goes. And there's a lot of stuff like that that comes in that I never see and put in what line item is supposed to go and it ends up where. License and permits, we kept that the same 1,500. That's for our CIS license. That's for our records. And then in the union contract for the officers, they have a one-time payment of $325 of your license. That was something that was negotiated, so that comes out of there as well. And that's paid the beginning of the year.
And then they in turn have to pay their own license fee.
No, that comes out of the dues and subscriptions,
For
$90 a year.
what is the 3.5 that the city pays?
That's in the union contract, something that was negotiated that they get
So it's a gimme? It's just kind of a.
they get
gimme?
$325 a year for being licensed.
Oh, for being licensed.
I don't know what the wording was. I don't have the union contract with me. It's in the contract though.
So it's a gimme is what it is. It's not a reimbursement. Okay.
Correct. The next one is the S00 capital outlay. That's for saving for squad replacements. We had 10 last year. I don't know, what do we have up there?
Well, 15 is what we,
In the budget.
Thoughts on that?
Do we know how much is the accumulated for capital outlay?
well, we know 10 grand for sure.
From last year.
Well, but then we've done other years as well.
Well,
We have $2,000 saved when I started here.
23 was 15 with no money expended, so you got 15 there.
Well, we bought a squad car last year, so that wouldn't be,
Well, that's true. That's
And
true.
prior to that, when I started here, there was $3,000 in the line or in that account set aside for squad replacement.
So if we don't use the 10, it'd be 10 and the 15 for 26, it'd make it 25. So you'd be positioned for getting another squad car then, wouldn't you?
If we need it.
Right. Well, that's important. I think you're in a position where you have the money if we.
Yeah, cause I think we
done 500.
we increased it just because of expected costs to go up. So we moved it up to that added $5,000. to it.
I got that car.
Yeah.
two different.
Just because that was a lot, it was just. Price
Probably the whole
for on equipment.
If you have more money, like.
Yeah.
You can reach out to it.
Well, and one of my thoughts too is Sourcewell does have grants and, some of them are whatever matching, they give you this portion, you pay this portion. And that was something that when it comes up to needing a new squad, I was going to check into that. I don't know if the criteria is you have to have a new squad or if you can buy used with that. I'll have to find out. But I do plan on applying for that as well.
But either way, we're doing a really good job of saving and building towards the future right now.
That's my point. Build that fund so that you got sufficient money where you can go out and get good equipment.
And we don't have to, also to have to budget extra 60,000
All
just
one
for,
time,
you know,
yeah.
yeah.
Open that 495, that contributions and expenses or what was there? Last year was 2024, it was $4,000 and we budgeted 0. Do we have any idea what that?
So I want to say
Kelly, can you pull that? Thank you.
that was, we
495.
finally got the bill for the body cameras like a year later.
Okay, and those
So
were on
that would've
grant too,
been-
right?
What's that?
That was a grant too, wasn't it?
That was a donation from the VFW.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, VFW paid the whole
Yep.
bill.
So that's another one where we spent it, but we didn't because it was.
last one for me on this is 580 other equipment, which is a very vague category, but that one was set at $500.
Pretty much anything that,
Is that what we talked about?
Yeah.
Like stickers or things for like parades or something?
yeah,
You gotta have a miscellaneous.
I try to get grant money for that.
yeah. But I mean, I think that's what it was, is we kind of just like, it's so much to whatever she wanted to, you know,
Maybe some
Pens
PS
or-
or whatever
yeah.
it looks like, yeah.
yeah.
Public parades. yeah.
It was for the body cameras, and then it says in parentheses that there was a VFW donation.
On the subject of grants, I'd like to commend you on how great a job you've been doing on that.
Thank you.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
Set the bar pretty high. Keep it going.
I know, my point.
Might need to give a clinic and how to write an effective grant. Help other people out.
Well, thankfully Sourcewell will be opening again, so the $1,000 one that I got for the transmission, that was in the last fiscal year, but they're gonna be opening again, so I'm gonna apply for that one again for something. We'll figure it out.
You're, you wanted it, training. You can't remember what we were, sorry, wrong department.
That was it. We can take a look at revenues.
I was gonna say I had revenue things about as well.
State grants and aids.
Are these for sure, like the 30,000, is that for sure?
Oh,
Or is that a guess?
let me,
I mean, that's what's budgeted for 2025.
What page are you on?
This is,
Page 9, new one. On the other one, it's page 9. And then it's on page. Yeah, page 7 on the other one. So we have nothing budgeted for this year.
no, we're gonna change that right now.
What page on the landscape?
7.
7. Down toward the bottom.
I think, every year we get about that in.
Yeah, we've been right around the 31.7, 27.6, so that's a reasonable number, I would say.
Yeah.
training and reimbursement, that's, I do the submission to the post board to get reimbursed for all the training that we do. Obviously it depends on the number of hours and hourly wage, so that'll probably change this year, but last year we got just over $4,000 back. Court fines, that must be from our state citations, we write. And then traffic citations are our city admin. And the ordinance are also our admin tickets for the ordinance stuff, nuisance properties, dogs, obviously a variety of stuff.
So you're not budgeting anything for these items?
We are right now.
On the sheet I'm looking, 2026 budget is zero.
Yeah, he's filling them in up there.
Oh, you're filling them in as you go. How much did you
Citations
put
to
in
what?
for state grants? 30,000?
30,000.
Yeah, well, is one state and one's regular on that traffic citations? There's two different
Yeah.
ones. Oh, it's in
Those
it
are the
twice.
state citations that we write.
Oh, they're the exact same, so.
Yeah,
35.
in the same
oh, no,
line.
no.
Yeah,
It's the
something's
same.
weird there because they're both 35, 105. One's a 406 and one's a 101. That's what it is. Again,
Oh, yeah. That's because those are the city tickets.
the 180 is probably
Are those,
on the nuisance side, on our side.
yes,
Do we get anything out of the state tickets? We get a percentage?
We get a small percent out of the state citations. We get all, obviously, the ones we write, the city administrative tickets.
406 are administrative,
Yes.
probably.
Yes.
So that would probably go up above that, right?
Don't have that pulled up.
406 would
can
be.
we, like the descriptions, can we change that description instead of saying traffic citations? So that way it's not confusing on,
Or just type in admin.
just put admin tickets or
Admin traffic.
that way it'd make it,
No, I can't edit it.
Yeah, it's probably on the other end of it, yeah.
So
But that would be more than 180. We've already got more
well,
than
that would
that.
probably be the.
So I'm guessing that, so when we write a traffic citation at $60, 20 goes to the PD, 20 goes to the state, and 20 goes to city, because Elvina said that they get $20 for doing our paperwork. So I'm guessing that is the $20 per ticket.
You're gonna have more than 9 tickets.
Yeah.
But
You get that in 2 months.
Yeah, Joe does that in a week.
Yeah. Should probably up that to like 1,000 at least.
Let's not be a disappointment if we don't do that.
I would say that would be pretty
Yeah,
sick.
We just have good law-abiding citizens, right? Nobody wants a ticket.
for a while there, the problems we're having were going out to the county and causing problems. They quit doing it in town.
Oh, sure.
Donation.
Does it make a difference if you include the traffic ticket in city limits versus outside of city limits?
So there's certain criteria for the city administrative tickets, like there's only certain statutes you can issue it for. For speed, it has to be 9 miles per hour or under, like that's what the offense has to be, or when you get them locked in on your radar. Like they're pretty strict on them.
Yeah.
Stop sign, exhaust, headlights. stuff
Yeah,
like that.
it's a very,
Seatbelt.
it's no,
That has to be state.
it's a state, but the state has set the parameters of what these administrative tickets can be written for. And it's like very condensed down to what you can write them for.
Okay.
So.
I know. Good job.
Yeah.
Speeding ticket. Does it matter? Is there a difference between if the ticket is issued within the city limits of Menahga versus outside of?
No, what the
city
difference is how fast you're going. If like, say it's a 30 and you're doing 80 and a 30, you're gonna have a higher fine. If it's 10 over, you're gonna have a, obviously a smaller
limits? Well, I
fine.
was wondering in terms of how much the city gets as. a
No, we get the
percentage
same,
of that
from my understanding, it's the same percent.
The same,
for the state.
regardless if it's in or outside the city limits.
But we are not patrolling outside of city limits, so to speak, so we don't normally write tickets out in the county unless we're asked to assist the county with something.
So it may be where
So-
the offense happened right here in town, but you don't catch them till a mile south of town out of city limits. So that's why you see, all of a sudden you see a city cop way down there. That's what happened is it took that long to get caught up.
Or if you're on your way home.
Quick question. So if you're coming into town, coming to work and you meet somebody going 90 miles an hour before you get to the city limit lights, you just let them keep going or you're gonna
I will
call it?
stop them.
You will stop. Okay.
Yeah,
You have jurisdiction outside of the city.
Oh, yeah.
Statewide, but
Yeah, you have statewide
Yeah.
arrest powers, right?
Yeah, we just don't get in the habit of it because it's in the city. Why are we over? Yeah, no, I've stopped people at 330th Street before doing 80 and a 60, like,
Okay.
and then it's like, you work for Menahga, you can't be out here. And it's like, okay, here we go. Yeah, no, we can. It's just not something we normally do unless you're in,
Requested.
or if you're in commit, like, I'm going to Menahga, I have a reason to be out of city limits. Or say somebody's transporting someone to jail and they're coming back and see something, well, you have a reason to be out there. That also comes into play, as far as like our city insurance. If you're outside of city limits and you have no justified reason to be out there and say something happens, what was your reason to be out there? So, kind of opens the door for a lot of problems.
Right, what's not the same as far as how much the city gets versus a city citation versus outside the city limits. You're saying that there is no difference.
It's 30%.
Yeah, it has to do with speed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you get a certain percent of it.
All right, so contributions, you're going after $5,000 again?
We can put that in there. Maybe.
What are you going after? What's the number?
I don't know.
We're setting the bar.
Let's do it.
Let's shoot for 10.
I like it.
Like something fine though.
Where's that gonna come from?
Friends,
10,000.
bear with me.
Sourcewell, VFW, Wolfpack, Lions.
VFW.
VFW, when's your next meeting? I don't know what I need, but I'll come ask you for something.
Need money.
Girl Scouts.
No, we're good. Hey, you guys just did a big donation to the Hooked on Fishing, didn't you? Those are angels.
Does this give us totals now? Or we can-
This will, yes,
So we can see the total revenue and the total expenditures?
yes.
Or no, that's not mine. I think you have to go back to just my department.
Well, there was an update and I am.
Coffee is ready. So
I don't have that answer right now.
We got figured out, just email us so we know what our total is. Let's up, at least that's what I'd like to see is our total expenditures, total revenues, just to see where we're at. Up for each department. If Banyan will do that.
Yes, yes, it can.
Yeah, let's hope.
if we have a budget neutral department.
Or if we have to go with spreadsheet on whatever we gotta do.
Uh,
No pressure.
yeah, right.
Yeah, so we can do it.
Yeah, I might be able to.
If we can't get it now, we can get it later, but. Well, we got it.
Yeah, I know. Lasted thing. Okay. Well, go to the top. Yeah,
So does it for liquor store.
I'm gonna have to get back to the council on this.
Yeah, I mean, that would kind of be the goal as we move through this, if we can figure out those totals as we go.
Well, that's what we did last year, where we took from one, added it to something like the fuel line and try to stay. Any questions?
Yeah, what it was.
I don't know. Here's a good question for you, Brett. Account number 4211036 contributions and donations others. Why is that listed twice?
I don't have an
We
answer.
had this conversation during our budget meeting, like, I feel like there's line items that like we don't need, and it'd be nice, and I don't know, maybe that's a requirement that they have to be on there, but I feel like there's just stuff.
So then,
Well, it's listed under twice.
which one, did you find the 10,000 to the 5,000 one or the 0 1?
One's a 101, one's a 406. If you look at the front of them, 101 is that account, and 406 is the other.
No, but
Oh,
hold
the
on,
R, yeah.
you know, like.
So what's the difference, 101 versus 406? What's that difference?
I am not sure.
Much old 10,000 for, that's the 101.
The 101,
Since I get,
Yeah, it's 101.
Because the one that you guys popped in there.
Yeah, Kelly, do you know the difference here between 406 and 101?
No, I know 101
101
is the general fund.
Yeah, and 406 would be,
capital investment.
yeah.
Capital project.
Yeah.
so if people donated to a new squad car, it would go under that.
Any donation should go under the 406.
It's to the department. It's a donation to the department.
So you want to get rid of the
So I would say, yeah, so the 10,000 should then go down to the
Yes.
406.
So then you want the 3,700 that you got from the.
I just glad it-
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
It's always supposed to go
That's
down.
a split 406. Is why they had it right the first place.
No, because I have a post.
To the department, not to the general fund.
Donation that it went into 406. Any donation should be, yeah.
And then we could probably get rid of them all altogether if you don't ever use it.
Yeah, I don't, as far as money coming in, I don't code any of that. As far as what line item they should go in, because I don't see any of it.
Yeah, 'cause if it's donated directly to the department, it should be on the 406.
Yeah.
So that it's correctly.
I could get rid of the 101 totally.
Crap on the citations,
Delete
the
the
state
line.
administration.
Yeah, the 101 should only be on the general fund.
Yeah. So I get that one for you, and then it'll only go under the.
Then I noticed that the traffic citations is under the 406 as well.
Yeah, so that's if it's the local.
Yeah, that'd be the
And the other one
ordinance
is
or the
state, what we get
administrative
from the
tickets,
state.
yeah.
So those two make sense.
Ordinance citation should be 406 though.
Yeah, ordinance should, traffic should be, so yeah, this ordinance should be 406 because that's local.
Yeah, that'd be the city ordinance ones, and then the other, the traffic citations that are there are the administrative tickets.
No, that would be correct. The 101 going into the general fund. Because for ordinances, it would go to the general fund.
Yeah.
You said
Oh.
$20 goes to the
administrative
city,
ones would go.
$20 goes to this, yeah, department.
So that would make sense. If it's an ordinance violation, that's a general fund thing. If it's a traffic citation,
Administrative.
that's administrative goes to you, the state part goes to the. Any other questions, right? Thank you, Amy.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay, I see.
All right, Brian is running errands right now.
Wanna go to Ron?
Yeah. Then,
Just page 5.
then we'll start at, operating supplies again.
Are we going up the horizontal one, Ron?
The portraits or the lands?
I don't have a new one printed up, but yeah, we'll go out and do a landscape one. Got operating supplies up there.
So starting on page 4.
On page 10. On the landscape.
Yep. And you're looking for 43100. And then we're gonna start at line 210.
I'm gonna have to deal with all the paper towels, toilet paper, all the different cleaning supplies we use over there. Get that set at 10. Set the sides.
And this is one of those things where there's like definitely some fluctuations there. When you look at 2023, we budgeted 7,500. We only spent close to 4. In 2024, it was budgeted for 9,000, but we ended up spending 17. Now this year we're at 9,000 again, but we're not even close to being a third of the way through it quite yet.
And then 2026 is gonna be more that we're gonna be purchasing sand. That year, 26.
Fall under that line item.
You're gonna be,
Yeah.
you're gonna be buying more.
Yes.
Yes,
The supply has gotten down another way.
that's went down probably about 2.5 feet from that wall.
Oh, these are the numbers we just went through and
That's
Correct.
for the beach.
Is there, I know years ago, Jeremy, you might be able to, with the Spear Lake, with the beach, they got an excavator or a dozer and pushed it back up.
Mhm.
Are they allowing that anymore, or can you?
We actually introduced new sand,
We
Yeah.
called in sand.
$2,400 worth, and
Yeah.
I think. I
Yeah.
don't know if we were gonna approach Menahga Concrete about donating some, I don't know.
this is salt sand, it's not the beach. This is street sand.
No, this, well, for beach would be,
No, this
That's
is
all
this
that's
is
good.
streets. Oh,
this
Beach
is,
sand-
this is
sand
beach right
goes in
now
there?
that we're on.
no, we're on.
Oh, we're on streets.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
beach
sitting on
sand does
210.
not go there.
No.
We spent 24. Okay.
Yeah. Brian comes on, we'll go through that.
Okay, all right. Sorry, wrong person.
Question. So like street sand and then like paper towels and soap and things like that are all in the same line item?
No, this,
Sorry.
we're changing gears. This is just for streets.
Oh,
Street supplies.
All right. Okay. Now I'm on the right number. I was going over looking at beach. Okay, sorry. So that, yeah. That is for the salt sand.
Cutting edges, all that kind of stuff.
Yes,
For the plow.
and then plow lights if we're needed. Then we're on more fuels and lubricants. Everything varies in streets. I mean, from year to year, whether we get more snow. I mean, operating supplies for salt sand decides to dwindle down to,
Do you think 6,000 is enough there? Ron,
for the motor
for
fuel.
motor fuel and lubricants? Because, this year we have budgeted 8,000 and through March, the end of March, we've used 2,000. That's 1/4 of the year through March. So you annualize that 2,000 becomes 8,000.
So Mike, we went through this at committee, remember? And it was plowing snow, January, February, March. That's why we're higher on fuel. Now we're gonna have the summer months where it's gonna be,
Yeah,
you're not gonna be plowing roads. We're not gonna be
So
spreading
this
the
is
salt
for
and sand.
2006. Yeah, I understand.
That's why we're front heavy right now is because we were plowing snow and we were doing all
Yeah,
that.
I understand you have the snow pump going this time of year. I get that.
And then
That's
when we,
why we lowered.
and when we look at it historically too, in 23, we budgeted 10, we spent 6.5. In 2024, we budgeted 10.5, we only spent 4. And then,
That's why we dropped it.
and in 26, just to give a reference, we did the oil changes already this year. 26 is the skid year for the lubricants for oil changes. 27 will be the next oil changes for the trucks. So that'll be another, why we're kind of looking at 6,000 should cover, because we have that variance. So 27 will be back at around that 8,000 budgeting. But for 26, we should be able to hit that 6. Uniform allowance, kept it at that 200.
Quick question, just before we go, the motor fuels and lubricants, because we're talking about plow trucks. I'm just wondering, is this for all public works vehicles, like little trucks you drive and is?
But it's split, they split it between sewer, water, parks, you know, so they're different uses.
I didn't know if that was all vehicles, fuel and.
So it'll be spread into the budgets of all those different departments.
So the one big
Yeah,
truck,
you're right. It doesn't.
the utility
It's all
truck
the
with the crane goes under sewer.
It doesn't.
The Chevy right now is going underwater. That newer Dodge we have is going underwater. Them are considered them department vehicles. So there's different vehicles under the different departments that go under for lubricants and stuff too. But more for motor fuels, like we're saying, that is split. It's more of about a fourth.
Okay.
For each one. Repair and maintenance, we have that budgeted at 12.
You remember what happened in 23 that caused that to go up to 30 grand?
A lot of repair.
Yeah.
We had different stuff going on with payloader. Payloader was one.
We have repairs on the plow trucks too.
Sweeper,
Yeah, plow truck, sweeper.
Was some expensive.
Sweeper was 11, I believe that was in 23. Yeah, 11,000 for the sweeper. And then we had the payloader and the plow truck.
that was 23 that Jensen's husband fixed the sweeper.
Correct.
How's it working? Good?
We're out making sure it keeps on going.
Making sure that the bed gets cleaned out good so that salt doesn't sit there and eat through the middle.
All the different stuff gets sprayed off. There's different cubbies underneath where oil and dirt and everything.
Use a pressure washer for that one.
Any thoughts of replacing it?
That's later on.
Okay.
We'll still numbers on that aspect. Street and road repair. That's the chloride, grading, cold patch. That we have at 17. Class 5 for the roads.
How much were you budgeting for the chloride? Just the chloride?
Chloride price, I believe, came to around, was it 10?
10,000? No, that can't be right.
That was grading chloride. I could get a full number again on that because it's just they go by how many gallons they use
Okay.
to put down.
Just because why I ask is there's been a few of the after it seems like after they get graded in the spring, chloride gets put on and then they get forgot about the rest of the year. And there's a lot of, especially I know down in the industrial park by Colville, it's a soft spot there. So anytime it rains, they start getting potholes. So are we thinking about, is this hoping to as a cure-all, or are we doing maintenance closer to the end of the summer or middle of the summer?
Versus.
Yeah,
The problem with chloride is when you put it on, you don't want to grade it hard. If you grade hard,
yeah.
you lose it.
But it's also, we had, because it was great when there was, no rain. It was actually the dust stayed down, but as soon as it rained, it'd get sloppy and then the roads were rough and then it dried, it got rough again. So, do we put an extra in for grading to at least do one, just to try a smooth, pat to fix it.
What would grade, 3, 4 times?
Three to four times before the chloride gets put down. And
But
then in
then-
the fall, we do 2 times. So we wait throughout, it's about end of August time that we grade again. And then it's September, middle September at the last grading that we grade again.
So can we push that one? Cause when I was,
For the final grading year, we don't want to push it too far because then we're starting to worry about frost and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
but
The only way you're gonna solve the problem, like cold
cold
bill,
bill,
is to put some more class 5 and bring it up 4 or 5 inches.
yeah,
And that would solve that problem.
yeah, cause
That's in the plan.
I
yeah,
was gonna
but
say.
it was just,
Do we,
Yeah,
do we
That's
break,
in the plan.
That's in the plans.
because it was, and it's not only there, there's a few of the other roads, but that's the only issue is once it rains, it gets that chloride wet and then it makes a sloppy mess.
Yep.
And then it dries and then it's rough, the road is,
It's one of them can't run.
it's rough,
They're either complaining
Yeah.
about dust or they complain about the road being rough.
yeah.
I do have
Oh, I know, and
Wind.
when I was growing up, before the road in front of my parents got paved, we ate dust, and so I know how about eating dust.
I often wonder
But
that.
it was just the thought of it's
You
the
guys
maintenance of
sometimes
it
grade it.
after the chloride has been on it.
Do you
is,
rumble up it,
it's rough.
rumble it, or do you actually bring in
And
more?
so that's why I asked, are we doing anything during the summer after it rains? Do we still have them come in once?
Like Jody said, it compromises your
Yeah.
effectiveness every time you grade it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not so much cutting down, it's more just kind of,
I do have
knocking off some
insight on all
ridges.
that. So I did talk to, Corbin Excavating. So they're grading, they'll do a second one, and then we're figuring out how much class 5 to raise it up to get our crown reformed. But we do have the street and road repair funds in there at 17 to be able to keep, and that's why we want to keep them funds in there, to be able to
Yeah.
keep adding class 5. Throughout the years,
Yeah.
it's been, I think we went 5 years without hauling class 5. That was our problem, that it all got beaded down and dispersed. Well, we got to keep up, and that's what we're doing, is keeping up with this, adding class 5, raising,
yeah.
and we're doing it.
Do they, have you, cause I know Blueberry Township and, the county does too, reclaims the shoulders, and I know down there, the industrial park is, especially on 11th Street, from all the way from 71 to Fern, even past, it's everything starting to push out into the ditch.
Right, they have a reclaimer machine too.
Have we looked at? And this is the first year
I've talked
so
to
that's
them.
why I ask, is this, have we looked at doing that, pulling the shoulders back in?
Yes,
Okay,
Yeah, there's actually a disc specifically made for when you drop it down on the shoulder, pulls everything
Yeah.
on the edge and the blade comes in. Along with it.
yeah, so that's why I just asked.
Process in the middle and let the traffic re-spread it, right?
No, not necessarily. What they do is they pull the gravel off the edge, put it in the middle, then the blade comes along and puts it in the middle,
That's what I'm
and
saying.
then crowns it. So it's already done. The traffic doesn't
Yeah.
have anything to do with
The
it.
traffic
At the
just
end of
helps.
the day, there's a fountain in the middle of the
Yeah,
road.
yeah,
And over time, the traffic will spread that fountain
It'll
down the
knock
road.
it down a little.
that and great, or plowing snow pushes it, but no, that's why I asked, cause there's just a few of so if we can, we all know you gravel, but if we pull some of that stuff from the ditch, it's gonna have sod in there.
That's
but-
part of this budget would be that, when they
Yep.
grade, they can do all that.
that's all
stuff
in
too.
place. I've been with Corbin, talking to him. So,
General question, since we're on the topic, how much, this is for you or whoever knows, but within the city limits, Menahga city limits, how many roads are still gravel versus being paved?
Had the mileage down, I believe it was 4.25,
They're gonna say it's under 5 miles.
Yeah,
4.25, something like that.
That counts the alleys too.
That counts happy hour. Well, that's our streets that we get chloride on.
Happy Hour, Oak,
Happy hour,
Blueberry,
Old Blueberry,
Blueberry River,
you know,
11th Street,
11th.
Cedar.
Is there anything in the trajectory? Maybe it's a moot point because it doesn't make sense. I don't know. I mean, I grew up in the metro, St. Paul, so everything's asphalt. But
With
like,
looking at
from
getting-
perspective, yeah, at some point, is there like a 10-year plan that within the city limits, we'd like to have all these streets. Cause it would eliminate a huge budget, like you pay for the asphalt, but now you're not grading and, you know, that type of thing. I don't know,
Then you have
I'm
to-
uneducated in this, so that's why I'm asking.
You have to assess it to the property then.
Yeah,
If you pay the road, it gets assessed to the property.
so people will pay.
See, Oak got passed over because that didn't get water and sewer put down in that. Same way as Blueberry River Drive, that didn't get water and sewer put down in. So we passed on putting pavement. Cedar, we were waiting for more developments to go in out there, which is happening.
Oh,
So we're waiting for more of the houses to get developed, more of because they're gonna have to tap into the main for some of the sites. So we didn't want to put pavement down and have to have it tore up just to put water and sewer on it. So that's why, once that gets developed more, that is in the plans with the engineer
I see.
to have it put on assessments.
Last
So
slide.
we're waiting for these different water and sewer projects that are
Next page,
happening
then.
here.
Yeah.
And then once these go, then we can work towards them other projects or streets.
So it is somewhere out there. It's just things need to happen.
So the capital improvement plan will be getting worked on. We still have 2 more years, but we're gonna be getting with the engineer to work on the next 5-year capital improvement plan. So it's every 5 years we work on capital improvement plan, what's in place for the city
Yeah, I imagine it's
to
taking a
take
while.
place. So
Okay.
this is the project. We also gotta get 71 put on the new capital improvement plan because that's in 28.
Right.
So our new capital improvement plan would be set from 28 till 33.
They kind of created a.
So that would, that's in the master. Sorry, I don't have them in place.
all right, let's keep rolling down. Safety equipment. Set that at 2,000.
1,000.
Telephone's pretty much a set.
Telephone fax.
Set deal.
Yeah. The travel and conference, there's different safety programs out there. I'm looking through one that's actually through Brainerd. Or, it is paid for by the League of Minnesota Cities also, that we can apply for that one. It's, plow truck safety and stuff like that. MMUA also has the thing for heat stroke aspect. That's safety training coming up next month through MMUA. So that's actually for all the summer workers too. So that'll be for Jim, Ralph to be able to go to, Brian. I mean, I'll probably stay back and let them guys go and get to that class so they can get that training, but that's in, May, June timeframe is that training.
Was that located? Just curious.
It's the next class there. I believe it's in Bertha or Burndale. So through that MMUA, there's 6 different cities that are combined.
Okay.
Brownville, Bertha, Burndale, Sabika, ourselves, and there's another city in there.
Good.
Advertising, that's the snow removal for sidewalks, also parking. The being a publishing for winter parking ad, set 250. So the discussion that we all came, we got next one, electric utilities. The other ones we can put the same. So the next one is the 381 electric utilities.
The.
One's at 4,500. That one's split for that building also.
Advertising. Using different methods,
No, it's just. What's budgeted?
but even like when we fully budgeted that, use.
So 382 was the next discussion,
Yeah.
the water sewer utilities. City is charging themselves for that service and then paying back themselves.
Yeah.
We're looking on deciding to have that taken off there.
A lot of cities don't do that. It just doesn't make sense. We send ourselves a bill, we write ourselves a check.
Yeah.
So there's no point in it.
Bill, that's
We
Just
get.
be an accounting,
crazy.
you can just do it on an accounting side, you know.
We will still
Have to
keep
transact.
track of the gallons so that he can match our main flow meter to what's out there to make sure we don't have any big leaks. But it just doesn't make sense to be writing ourselves a check for our own service.
Yeah, send it. And then have to pay for the mailing and posting and everything and.
Well, we don't.
Everything takes
Yeah.
time.
It just doesn't make sense.
Gas utilities is prepay. That usually is in June timeframe that we get the amount that's gonna be charged.
Do you follow?
Yes.
You follow the rates run and then pull the trigger when you think the gas rate is as low as it's gonna get to.
Yeah, it usually comes from LCC. They'll send us.
So they advise you now is the time.
They give you a chance to prepay at a certain rate. There's no, you can't pick when you prepay.
You can't follow a gas rate.
No, they say, okay, we're opening it up. You can prepay now for this price for the year.
It'll come to the council.
You can lock in for a year. That's kind
Yeah, I
of
know. They've changed what I used to live in the country and bought gas and I would follow the price on the prepay. And when it got as low as I thought I was gonna get, I could pull the trigger.
I think they work pretty good with the city though too.
Yeah,
I mean, they kinda. Yeah, but the garbage services, 1,300. I mean, that one at times varies too. That's just the next one, that's at 300. So that's to upkeep our CDLs. Capital outlay is put at 25. Saving up for trucks, sweeper in future. Skidster is under there also. As Amy was talking about, we did find out Sourcewell is a good one to try go for grants. Can try look on a Skidster through Sourcewell also. To get a grant through them. And then transfer out of the 35 into the learning center expenses we have on there too. That's for taking care of sidewalk salts, the salt for the sidewalk and also the building. We are looking for a storage container for the stuff that's actually into that building. Be able to take that stuff and store it in a container.
Yep. So we can start using that building for something instead of,
Nobody's in there right now, speaking.
food shelf. And food shelf is a service. We don't collect any money from them.
And that's only half the building, so the other half is.
We do have, movies looking at renting it just as office space for a couple of days a week, couple hours, couple days a week for people to fill out paperwork. We're still in talks about whether there's a daycare that wants to get in there or Head Start. Either one would bring us some money. So instead of putting money out, we could at least pay for the building.
Just keep in mind though, if you start renting it out as a ongoing revenue thing, you will get taxed for that property.
There's
You lose tax exempt.
there's a there's a whole deal going on. There's,
Unless you know something.
there's a bunch of stuff dealing with that. And then it's like, if we just make enough to maintain, and that's my goal. We're not trying to make money. We're trying to provide a service. If we can get a daycare in there, which the community needs, keep the rent so it just covers what we need to cover to pay for the building. Because right now the taxpayers are paying all the upkeep on that building. So as long as we're not generating profit, and you can, even on tax exempt, you can still make some money. It just has to be used.
Like
There's a-
cleaner or somebody.
There's a whole deal. And it isn't in that old grant thing like they had talked about where it had to be used. That's long gone. That's expired. So we're beyond that point. But yeah, there's a whole, and the whole idea is not to make money, it's just to pay for itself and provide a community service. And either way it would, whether it's Head Start or whether it's daycare, it would be a service to the community. But we're not there yet.
Would food shelf stay in half?
Yes.
You're looking
Yeah.
at by the other half?
Food shelf would
Now
stay
they're
in there.
covered then. the
And
whole-
Food Shelf only uses it, they have truck days twice a month and they have Wednesday evenings twice a month. So they're only in there 4 days out of the month. So that space can be utilized for some things, but as long as it doesn't affect their stuff. We're still working on things there, but the idea is to get it to pay for itself so the taxpayers aren't paying to heat the building and maintain the building, and that's the goal. But we're not there yet. What else we got?
I mean, that's it.
About it.
Yes, yeah. Well, we got, seal coating under streets.
It's on its own.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on its own deal.
So I actually put 20 because we didn't have budget for 25. But trying to save up, so 26 will be saved and then 27 will be budgeted again. Also, and then used on 27 to seal coat streets that
Our
was,
next seal coat's 27.
that's that west side of town, large in them. Large fifth lane, fifth, fourth, sixth lane carry.
Was it Juniper or one of them other?
Juniper was done, it was Hickory.
Hickory.
Done for what? What was Hickory done for?
Juniper was done back
The
in
steel coat.
20, yeah, for seal coat,
And that was this last year?
20.
Oh, back then. Oh, yeah.
And then, like I mentioned, we should probably think about seal coating that parking lot. Doing
The
something with
liquor
it.
store.
Yeah. Oh, shit. While they're in town, that'd be the time to put it in there. That should take care of streets, right?
Yes,
Yeah. We'll move over to, water.
unless you want to look at the street revenue.
Yeah.
As well, because it follows right there.
Street, sidewalk, curb. Put 1,000 in there. We don't know for sure what it's gonna be when we saw who's not doing their sidewalk. Then snowplow grade sweeping, been sweeping more for the county. Didn't have budget in there. We had 1,000, but I did the estimate. It's around 2,500 for sweeping for county roads.
Should we up that then? Oh, you already did. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
What about the state?
the state's kind of,
Did you submit any billings for, there's 3 different departments, right?
right, I did for removing the snow over there on 87, but it didn't for sweeping. That's kind of been more a wash type thing. It's to keep it from getting into our catch basins and our storm to sweep them, but that doesn't get charged back to the state. They don't have
Is it more just for snow removal?
for snow removal, we
They'll
have that,
compensate you for sweeping up all the debris on their road, huh?
you know.
So it seems odd. So if you request them to, will they bring a state sweeper in or sweep all those?
They do come, but they come in about June timeframe. So all,
It's too
all
late,
that,
it's all washed into.
all
the
that's
storm.
already washed storm sewer. That's why our, that in the lake, why that filled up with so much sand is because they wait so long. And if we don't catch it before these big storms, we end up having all that sand washed down into that pond, and then we pay for the expense
So
to take it out.
Would you go to them and say you need to get here quicker?
I have,
If not, we'll bill you for cleaning out our catch basins.
Yeah.
Then they'd probably show up a little sooner. So how much did we bill the state for snow removal?
that was 5 hours. And,
We didn't do anything on 71 going out of town,
no, we just did
71 going
80,
south of town.
we just did 87.
Billed them what, $400 and 25?
I think isn't that usually the only problems is 87 west?
Yeah, 395.
That was 71. I mean, like the school, they
Total,
push
okay,
everything.
so, yeah, 570.
Concord Products clears that whole thing, and Lumberyard and VFW, they all,
Yeah, all the businesses end up
Yeah.
taking care of 71. It's just 87 that we
their
end up,
residential area.
we end up taking care of.
The first, what, 4 blocks?
Yeah, they,
3 blocks?
Yeah, it goes from there to,
They help out.
or,
Yeah.
they just pay for, they have to pay for their own.
When they plow 71, we're going north and south and push all the snow off of the edges. All the businesses take care of that.
businesses take care of that.
Tell me about it. I grumble about it every time I plow there. Got two
Businesses take care of all that, and then being that it's residential going west of town on
Making all
87,
fragrance, yeah.
you know,
I grumble about it every time I plow on 71.
Just a question for you, Ron. Have you, the striping machine doesn't work because the paint heads are clogged.
correct.
Have you ever gotten a price to fix the striping machine so we can use it instead of hiring that done?
I haven't got one yet, but I'll look into that aspect.
Yeah,
of cleaning up.
I think I'd.
Whether it's getting the guts replaced or having them cleaned.
I'd like to know that cost.
Yeah, that paint's been sitting in there for this long, and I doubt you're gonna get it cleaned up.
Yeah.
It's just, it's solid.
It might end up being needed.
Replacing all
I
that.
know when that was first purchased, it was purchased for around 5,000 for that sprayer, but brand new.
There's brand new ones on it.
That was how many years ago?
Probably 15, 20 years,
And it's been how long that it's been inoperable?
3, 4 years. We ended up getting a different handheld sprayer. Do a bike path, that's when we've been having that rented out. But we've been using spray cans and, one of them striping machines with the cans.
I think it'd be good to know what the cost would be left when that's out online.
Is it the same pages on your guys' page 12?
For
For what?
no. City deed, city park, unallocated expense. What?
The
It's on
land.
13 on the portrait,
It's 13.
on the portrait. Yeah.
Page 13 on the other one.
Landscape is 13.
Yeah, 13. So we'd be looking at operating expenses. While state water testing,
There's 13 on the portrait, but what is it on the, oh, here, it's on 12, isn't it?
So-
The landscape,
So we,
601.
state water testing that then get funded under budgeting.
well, no, the reason why is because when you look at 23, the amount expended was 0. You look at 24, amount expended was 0. So in 25, we're like, well, it's been zero. Why are we budgeting it? So we stopped budgeting it. And now we have a charge there. Can you pull that, please, Kelly?
Yeah.
Or it's done every 3 years? Oh, okay,
That's the
so this is the third year?
copper and iron testing.
Yeah.
So
So it was this year.
If that's the case, we need to budget $2,000 a year to cover it if it's every 3 years, right?
Yeah.
I mean, would that make sense?
Yeah, cause they got, lead and copper, the PFAS.
They're talking, we're gonna get rain today.
Well, that's good. That'll lower the fire risk.
I think we need to budget $2,000 a year there just to make sure we have funds when it comes
Right.
around.
That would be a $200 and some or $300 and some increase over the actual. Is 2,000 enough? Cause you're 3 years out, fees go up. I'm wondering if it should be like 2,250.
This is an enterprise fund, so it wouldn't matter if we want to put it a little higher. It's not affecting the taxpayers. So we could.
100.
There it is.
2250.
Yeah.
100.
So license. Then go look up the bill just to verify.
Okay. So that was the license also, that goes, license for the drinking water also goes under the state water testing.
Operating supplies?
Yeah, 28 under that.
Yeah, we upped that at committee a little bit just because nothing goes down in price.
And we've under budgeted, since, 23 on here. So I think we might actually reach parity finally.
And this is again on the motor fuels. This is where it gets split between all the different.
And that one's actually gonna change also more is because of the generator. So we gotta put at 4.
Do you run that generator? So it's gonna be burning that much more fuel or what?
It runs every Monday
Hours just to
right.
test it?
for 30 minutes to test it.
Well, that's actually, it's a good
Then
thing.
if we do have a power outage, I mean, it's gonna be using more fuel, but
Where's that
This
located?
is natural
Right up
gas.
there by the plant.
diesel.
Right next door.
Or it uses diesel.
Yeah, it was just filled up recently
You're
too with that generator.
Or
No.
pretty quiet?
Yeah.
You hear it when it starts, but like,
Repair and maintenance at 20,000. Safety equipment at 1,000. Auditing services, that's been 5,000. Relative times. And here you can see 23 and 24 has all been 5,000. Legal services. It's at 4,000.
What would water use legal for? Obviously, I mean, things like, with, the lawsuit going on, but outside of that.
I mean, you get union negotiation parts. You have legal services there.
And according to Terry, that isn't gonna be much. She has no intention of involving the lawyers to a great degree.
Right, but we still want to make sure we keep it at that just in case
We
we
don't want
have,
to be behind on it.
just in
Well, I'm
case
just
we do
wondering-
have.
Wondering what legal that water would use.
Well, and if you look in 23, it was 33.77, and 24, it was 36.07. We didn't have negotiations either of those years, so.
And we're talking 26, negotiations won't happen in 26, that's happening in 25.
So when you got other cases going on, I mean, it all disperses throughout the different departments.
Another one of those split fees.
Yeah,
We're just trying to figure out what legal services that water will use outside of, like the,
The ongoing one?
That one's,
and that'll be
that one's coming out of
resolved
the
this
insurance
year.
on
That's gonna
LMC.
be resolved.
That one, it's LMC insurance that's paying that one. It's not even coming out of this. So.
I mean, I know it's enterprise fund, so it's not affecting the taxpayer, but I'm just,
I believe she's
Just
gonna look
curious.
that up to get that information. Professional services, that is under our, for water testing. And the wells.
We upped that because we had another well coming up.
Yep.
Got the big test coming.
yeah.
Computer support systems, that's Banyan and West Central. So then pay 800 on that one.
Oh, this is for the legal services in
When does that
24?
like hit? Since
Yeah, okay. Makes sense.
25 or 0, you're good.
Union stuff.
When does that come into play?
But even with the union stuff, that
Believe it's.
Yeah, anything,
July, August
anything on a
timeframe.
personnel issue, you know, if there's
Yeah.
any grievance or anything like that, it gets split into that.
yeah, but like even in negotiations. Yeah, that will.
Yeah,
it's
it all gets split into the whole subby water, sewer, streets, anything public works on that. That makes sense.
Okay.
Contracted maintenance, that's at 3. That's the same. We have all them flow meters tested. Telephone, fax, internet. That's 1,600. Postage. So I have it saying samples on the side for postage, but, now we're actually bringing the samples to, well, part of the samples get sent still to Department of Health, the quarterly samples. But when it comes to the lead and copper samples, then them actually go to R&B labs. They're dealing with them now instead of Department of Health.
Oh, this is our water and sewer bills that go out to. It's a portion of that
Yeah,
on
that's
postage.
part of the postage.
Yeah, or something.
Traveling conference, training coming up.
Is this already this amount we have in here for 2025? Was that all because it's been prepaid already?
That was the one in, March that Brian just went to. Same class as next year that I'll be going to, the water sewer conference in St. Cloud. That's through Rural Water Association. Advertising, it's at 500 for excess equipment. I think that's publishing, 1,500. Has to do with the consumer confidence report, hydrant flushing, and then the maintenance. All the liability and everything that stayed the same, so we're on electric utilities. Water plant and shop. At 25,000. Depreciation, we kept that same. dues and subscription,
We brought that one down.
to 2,000. Licenses and permits. That 500. Outlay 30,000, saving up for that, for a pickup truck.
Truck you wanna do this year,
This year.
we're talking.
And then we're still saving, accumulating that so we can get on still a rotation of every 3 years. So truck this year and then keep saving.
Yeah,
for
so
another-
this 30,000 for 26 has nothing to do with that truck you're buying this year,
Right,
but that would be accumulated for future rollover.
yes,
Well, and like you have on here, garage doors, building maintenance, I mean, anything
Right.
we have to do, anything you have to capital outlay for. Sweeper, whatever. Well, this is water, but. Saving up for future.
Yeah.
So we don't put ourselves in a bind again.
I mean, you're even looking at that aspect of water lines, I mean, we might even have to use funds out of that for some water lines if we don't get grants covered.
Yeah, the grant picture ain't looking real good. Assuming this last one's gonna go away here sometime.
Eventually, yeah, it should.
It's one of those 3-year things. I think Alvina said you have to keep it on there for 3 years until it's done.
Yes.
Mhm.
Ready for the next outbreak or?
Hmm.
Be the bottom of page 14. 602. And then looking at operating its supplies, so 210. That at 23,000.
And this one's been historically under budgeted. So again, this is another one that I think we'll probably reach parity with.
Motor fuels and lubricants is at 3,500. Uniform allowance 200. Repair and maintenance, if you had a question about the refund that we got back, 598, that was from that punctured line of our discharge pipe. That we got refunded back.
And this is where we're doing our jet lining and all that, right? Was under that.
It's under repair and maintenance, yes. That amount is actually professional services for Johnson. Is that next one? So 1,500, that's calibrating our sewer detector. And our different gloves and things. That aspect. Legal services, 3,500. So this next one is professional services at 40. That's the Johnson's jet line, also pipe.
We did after that because we were under budgeted prior years.
Hopefully looking at that amount, bringing down for bite because of taking three to four lift stations off of there. of them are being treated by that new system we just put in the beach lift station. But also we're looking towards future expenditures in 26, 27, 26. So. Computer support system, that's same Banyan, Neptune. Telephone fax, 1,200. Postage stayed the same. Then travel and conference at 1,200. Decent, printing of economy. That 200. Here's an emission. That's 1,500. And I did have a copy of it too. That one's through the League of Minnesota Cities. These. Yep, the electric utilities next, 10,000. Creation expense, we kept that same miscellaneous, we didn't have any under there. Next one's license and permits. That's the pollution control agency. Again. And then capital outlay, have that at 15,000. That's the same thing. We're accumulating in that field to keep that going.
In your comment box, you have tires for payloader. I know we just replaced those tires, what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? Well, they hold them up pretty good.
Good.
Okay.
We just gotta keep them funds keeping on going, so we're not all.
No, I understand. It's just a question I wanted to throw out there.
No, yeah, they're really good tires.
Okay.
They dug in good. We weren't slipping and sliding in the snow these last winters.
All them extra sipes on those tires make a huge difference.
You know. And then that's the same with the transfer out, putting it into our saved account. We're looking at I don't know if we went through any of the revenue in that account. Brett.
I'll still complete that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, is Brian still around or is he not back?
Do you want me to go and call him?
Well, I mean, if he's here, yeah, I want him in.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, well, right, Amy wanted me to give these guys, give these to you.
Okay.
This is the difference between the 25 and 26 budget.
That's handy. We should get that for every department.
Just as the bare minimum numbers on there that we can all understand.
All,
Perfect.
all the bars. Brian's on his way.
Yes. Well, do we want to hit?
We could wait for him or if you want
We
to
can get into
start.
admin and fire or whatever.
Yeah. I have administration pulled up.
Not beyond beach for.
Page one?
Page one, yeah. No, we're gonna do administration. We'll wait for Brian to get here
Oh, okay.
and we'll do his part. But because we have, yeah, we can do administration, we can do fire, we also have mayor council, we can do professional services. We got some cake.
Oh,
I gotta pull 41.
so if that works, I'm gonna go and get
I
my
got a
samples
meeting,
taken
we
to
gotta-
DL, so.
One for sunset.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ron.
Administration.
Right, operating or office supplies, when looking on here, yeah, we've been over budget every single year. In 2024, kind of brought it in, and 25, I sure hope we can keep it under. I want to go with the same number and just make that the goal. I really don't want to go higher. I know we needed some new minute books. We needed another resolution book, and I mean, unfortunately, those things cost. And I think we have really kind of maintained the same amount of paper that we've been printing. I think it depends. I think we're about the same. Yeah, operating supplies, I think we'll be, all right there. Again, I want to keep the goal, low, and, we put it at 650, which will, I believe, hit parity. Repair and maintenance, we're keeping that, yeah, keeping that at 300. And again, when you look past through the years here, it really wasn't budgeted for. But there's always something that gets put against it. So, I think 300 will cover it. Professional services. Wasn't budgeted, but now we're budgeting for it. When you look in 24, I can't remember exactly what that's for. Can you pull that professional services, under administration?
Seems really high if we only spent 475 last year.
Yeah, and 275 and 23. 202.50 this year. What services are you charging to professional services, Brett?
I think our repair for the printer goes on there. Yes. Wait, which one are you asking for professional services? Oh, I'm getting it pulled right now because I want to look.
5,000 just feels kind of high to be based on history.
Supplement pages, background check.
Okay.
So to American Legal for most of it.
Yeah, we could probably drop that quickly.
All the way through all of the ordinances, they've been done now.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, we have personnel policy to go through yet.
Yeah, that won't go to
That won't go to American. We should be able to take that down to. I mean, looking at the history, I'd say down to 1,000.
I'd say take it to a vote.
Okay. telephone, fax, internet, where are we here? So, that one again kind of bounced around a bit. In 23, we budgeted 4,700 and then we spent 75. In 2024, 5,000 was budgeted. We spent 11. And now in 25, we budgeted 5,000 again, and we're just over halfway.
Of that.
Why was it close to 12,000 in 24? 11,700.
Now we've been up above it. I'd say we need to go up on it regardless.
I have it set at 7,000 for 26, and
We're already 2,700 this year. And we're only in
we're at 3650.
Further
3650 area, so we're,
further away through the end.
yeah, we better up
Well,
that.
a third of the way you're working at
So that gives you 12,
through April.
really. I mean, if you look at where we're at,
Are there any expenses this year that are out of the ordinary though? So they're
No, I don't believe so.
the cost of living, like just internet prices.
I mean, I can't see it all going up. What do you got, Kelly?
That was where the camera lease and installation was on the,
it was an extra last year.
Yeah.
We're already at almost 4,000, so I'd say to be safe, we better go 12.
Okay.
We took 4,000 off that other one, so we're just adding 5 here.
Say 7 to 12. Okay.
That's more realistic.
It's an auction, but it costs that much.
Stitch, where are we at here? Postage, we're budgeting for 1,400. And again, this is one of those where we've kind of budgeted under. Or yeah, the number we budgeted was lower than what was actually expended. And I think moving it to 1,400 is probably going to be the most accurate we've been.
And then there's been a postage increase this year.
Yes, there has also been that.
Do they still sell forever stamps?
Say again?
Do they still sell the forever stamps?
They actually do, but they.
I know they're trying to cut them.
Today's rate.
They're talking about cutting them.
And we do encourage individuals to set up online, so there's less mail going out, but
we want to see too, if there's a way that we can set it up so when the customer goes on the website or goes to a site, they can just see what their bill is
Pay it online.
and pay it online instead of us having to print them, mail them, everything else. Diane and I were trying to figure out. if
Yeah, we don't have
we
that.
can
We don't-
figure out an option like that where they can.
We
see
may
it.
have to go away from Banyan to do that. We may have to change that.
We don't have the option for the user to say, I'll pay electronically instead of mail.
Right, we do not.
And can't find that option.
It's just the postcards at the water sewer.
Yep.
Okay, which is cheaper than like letter envelope.
yeah, significantly. Travel conference, we're gonna keep that about the same. Yes. Our LMC trip is coming up, and then there'll be other opportunities that come up throughout the year for us to go and attend. Printing and publishing. We're leaving that at 5,000. And well, actually, now that I'm looking at it, we could probably no, I think we ought to just leave it alone. We've been, well, okay, this was just ping pongs everywhere. In 23, we budgeted 44, we spent 7.6. Okay, so in 24, we corrected that to 8,000. We only spent 2,000.
Yeah, I think we better leave it at 5.
Yeah.
Just to see where we lay. And this is the preliminary too. We can always sharpen our pencils as we go.
What was the miscellaneous expense for? What do we use that for? I know we talked about this.
We did, but I don't remember.
Yeah,
I told you, so I will go print it out.
Yes, thank you.
No. It's right there on the desk.
Well, whatever, it looked like 2,000 would be reasonable based on the history.
Yes. And then also the dues and subscriptions, that one came up. We've again historically under budgeted for that. And yeah, it's our MCOFA, swipe clock.
Oh, that goes in there?
Yes, for dues and subscriptions. So what?
There's some,
Todd? Okay, yeah, that's the community support program that we donated to. Okay.
That would be the community
Yeah, that'd be
corrections.
one.
Yes, yeah.
It's going to pay it back.
We're not gonna put anything in for capital outlay. I'm gonna use the when boost funds become available. I'm gonna try and use all that and get a big shredder. I know we talked about it last year, but I think 25 is the year that we're
Of doing what for them?
getting a shredder.
Why wouldn't you contract with the company that comes in with the truck with the huge shredder and they take boxes and dump in boxes at a time and off they go?
I don't wanna wait.
sometimes there's documents that have personal information that you don't want somebody to have to shred.
But they don't read it, they just dump it in a shredder. They don't haul it anywhere, it's shredded right there on the truck, as it sits right out here.
Well, and
The bank does that, Tom.
And you'd also have to factor in employee pay and time to stand there and feed it into the shredder.
well, I mean, really, that's just a one-time thing to shred a bunch of stuff, and then after that, it's like, oh well, I don't need this, shred, and you're
Right.
done.
Shred it as you go.
Yeah,
So the
and
conversation.
I've been here.
Well, it's just part of the budget.
Yeah, but it'll be I'm gonna use a grant for that, not coming out of the city.
They're not, I mean, it isn't that much money. I
No,
mean, shredders are cheap. Like, my mom's got one, I got one. I shred my junk all the time.
but and you know, I've been here.
He's talking to one.
More of an industrial type shredder, right?
But yeah, it'll be no, this will be you can do about 20 sheets at a time. It shreds it to a sawdust disintegrated degree. I mean, it'll be to US government, like up to, I think, top secret destruction.
What is it, one about?
Anywhere between 17 and 2,000. That's about what the grant would be for.
Well, I've used a commercial shredder before, they come with the truck, and they have well, it's like a large garbage pull. Like a large plastic garbage can pull that's got a Smith on the top, and the lid is locked. Padlocked onto the bin, so you can't peek at what goes in.
Well, I mean,
Let's keep on track here with budget, please.
yes.
We gotta get out of here shortly, so.
Well, last comment, I apologize. I've been here for quite literally a year, and we've had no commercial truck come here, and you know, it's not the city is just going to do it. This would be in collaboration with Greenwood, and
And the school, I think.
I don't communicate with the school that much.
To me, it would make the most sense to have one here that we can just shred stuff as we go.
Yes, that's
That way,
Let me own it.
no personal information ever gets anywhere.
No.
Done.
Well, I disagree, but that's okay.
where can we move to next here? Do we want to hit fire or do we want to roll that?
Brian's here.
Well, no, I understand some council members need that.
Yeah, we're not gonna get enough time. So yeah, maybe the fire quick and then we'll set a date for the next meeting.
We're doing fire now? What are we doing?
We can do fire department. Zero.
Oh, yeah. There we go. 3 and 9.
Yeah, we're probably gonna start at top of page 4.
So I did not talk to the fire department, nor the committee, so these are gonna be pretty generalized numbers and, any discussion that comes up, I mean,
Girls and I have not met with fire.
Not yet.
We haven't even been contacted
I
by.
think Terry got back and then he was home for a week and started working last week, so.
what is, so, we can go right to, line 208, training and instruction. We do get reimbursed for their training. But we still pay it up front, and, it looks like they've already done some training already, and it looks like this number is actually a little low compared to, I mean, we've budgeted 5,000 since 24. And, it looks like the typical cost is right around 9,000.
Based on that, what, end of the year?
I don't know exactly when we get reimbursed.
Is it June? Because we have we have to spend, we have to do so much training in the spring, and I think it's June and then
And
the end of the year, I think.
So actually, the $5,000 budget probably works, is if we have to pay it, and then we get reimbursed, then we have to pay it again.
Yeah.
So we're probably all right on it.
Yeah.
Cause we get it back before we'd spend it for the next round from it.
We'll leave it at 5.
Yeah.
Operating supplies, well, in 23, the budget was for 4,000 and we only spent 183. So the budget in 24 was $200 and then we spent 4,000. In 25, we budgeted 500 and we're at 1,000 now.
I think there was some coding errors back in 23.
Yes,
Something's not right.
so I have it set for 1,100 for operating supplies and,
We're already at 1,036.
yeah, so do we need to take that next step back up again? Maybe set it to 2,000? 2,000.
I would think we better, if we're already almost at the budget, so. Better go 2,000 there.
What kind of operating supplies would go in there?
Kelly, can you pull it? Thank you. Now pull for 24, please. Motor fuel lubricants. Well, I mean, we're at a total of 320 right now. We budgeted 2,025.
It's one of those variables.
2024, just about on the number.
Yes, and, for 25, I have it set for 2,500.
I think last year, it's the same thing. We,
It's hard to say, it depends on
Yeah,
the calls.
and then I think last year we had a lot of the Allen trucks had their oil changes.
So, yeah, that,
Enough to kind of like Ron with the plow trucks, it's about every other year you do oil changes on the trucks.
so no, that was budgeted for in 24, yeah.
So
I would keep it there just to be safe.
Grand Forks Fire, okay, yeah. Shell, Napa,
Chainsaws.
okay, Napa Auto Parts, adapters. Yep, chainsaw chain. Dry erase supplies, I mean, okay.
It's changed.
almost,
Makes sense.
yeah. You only can get usually about one good sharpening out of it, and then you.
Yeah, you guys are hard on those. Nails,
It's the
nails and rocks
it's the-
don't
it's
work well.
nails. It is nails in the houses.
What about like operating spots that like
That'd have
paper
been-
towels, and, like shop cloths and like.
Well, that'd be the
Yeah,
fire
that's-
supply, that's stuff like that.
Oh,
But I
okay.
can't remember what that.
Well, why are we bumping up 2,500 when
That's, yeah,
it's down
that's our.
2,000?
Turnout gear.
Gas isn't getting any
Yeah,
cheaper.
our turnout gear would come through our jobs.
Diesel fuel ain't getting any cheaper. I wanted to make sure we're not under budgeted.
That's been a big.
And when you look at the 24, And yeah, 23, okay, so in 23, budgeted for 3,000, spent 20, approximately 22. In 2024, budgeted 2,000, and then pretty much got to the point 1950. 2025, we're at 320 right now. I imagine we'll probably get back to that number. I think this is just kind of a buffer. Yeah,
Part of this budget determines our contract prices too, so we don't wanna be, we don't wanna
As
be
close as
low.
we possibly can.
Yeah, you don't wanna be low.
Okay.
uh, miscellaneous equipment count. Well, it's, we didn't spend it. I mean, we budgeted for it, didn't put anything into it in 24. In 23, we didn't budget, and then we ended up, spending 7,300. Can you pull that one, please? It'll be the,
23?
yeah, 23.
And this year it's hasn't spent anything.
Nope. So we'll see what happened at 23. Repair and maintenance. We're about a quarter of the way through. We budgeted for 10,000. I mean, I think we're a little under year to date. So I think, I'm pretty comfortable staying at 10,000 going into, 26. Although, yeah, and we did do a lot of the maintenance last year, so that we did over budget last year, but
Yeah, I think they hit a couple of the big things the last 2 years and
The
that.
tires we ended up buying last year.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah. We should be all right there.
This one was just journal entries to record purchase of fire department equipment.
So
So no vendor or
that's
anything
for
like that.
chainsaws or any of that kind of miscellaneous equipment, jaws of life.
There were two purchases. One was for 1785, the other one was for 5568.
That was,
That-
was that the
That
down?
was that might have been a Jaws. I know we ordered, one guy said a turnout gear.
That'd be under safety though, wouldn't
Yeah,
Wasn't some of that money their grant or donations towards the Jaws?
yeah,
it? That's the other thing
Yeah,
that
Covering
doesn't,
the whole thing.
that's the other thing that
yeah, I
doesn't show.
know. I think we would have saw that though under no, under repair and maintenance, no. And miscellaneous equipment, no. Safety equipment.
Are we leaving the miscellaneous equipment at 5,000?
Well, you know what? I think we could probably get rid of it. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Well, I think we should get that into the committees.
We should let Terry.
Yeah, I think we've been just looking at some of this stuff and all the questions we have. I think we better have the committee meet and get some of those answers to bring back to us.
Me and Derwin.
I think,
I agree.
I think what we should do here is.
Yeah, Terry has operational knowledge,
Fire.
which I think is important to.
So let's set the date for the next meeting. I think would be the biggest thing is to have our date for our next budget meeting. Give the fire time to have their meeting. Oh. And we should be able to, we're getting into the busy season here, so we'll have to make it an evening meeting.
Right, I was just gonna
It's
say.
hard, especially hard for him
Yeah,
too.
it's hard to take.
Mike, Mondays usually work best for you.
Usually, yeah.
How about the 19th of May?
Works for me.
19th of May, 6 o'clock.
19th of May. Sitting with girls that they wouldn't,
Officer council meeting, 26th Memorial Day.
I know
I was just making sure.
my son is going to cut workers that fly in the airport, and I'll sit with the girls at night, 'cause they
Sure.
fly in at night.
Any other day of the week work for you?
Open on, Wednesday, the 21st and Thursday, the 22nd.
I worked there.
Okay.
Both those days.
What about Tuesdays? Like the 20th.
I like Tuesdays.
Mike, does the 20th work for you?
Yeah, I can make the 21st one.
Works for me.
If it's 6 p.m.
6 o'clock. What, couple hours, Terry, you think, or 6 to 8?
Yeah, let's do a couple just to
Buttoned up.
try to button up as much as we can. We'll have some really good numbers from, on your admin side, you'll have the salary numbers. and
Yeah,
that,
I'm
I
gonna-
imagine.
We'll sit down and we'll calculate all that.
We'll have some pretty concrete numbers by then.
Would it be possible, Brett, do you think, to be able to get the ones we've gone through, broke up by himself, showing the expense and revenue, and see?
Surely I can get a report for that, yes. Because, yeah, I'll be able to generate some kind of report, because, you know, when you look at the, budget revenue year to year, I mean, this one shows you the totals on there. And, I mean, we're coming out pretty good.
All right, making a motion to adjourn.
Second,
The time is 1:01.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Adjourn.
Thank you very much. And we are going off stream.
well, that must have been